What is the most important thing that you need to gain the respect of women? There's going to be some people that tell you that it's money. There's going to be some people that tell you that it's power. But there's no denying that women that you're romantically interested in, you need to gain their respect. Women cannot love a guy that they don't respect. So in this video, I'm going to break down the number one thing you need to raise a woman's respect level in you so you can find the woman of your dreams and live a happy life. But before I get into it, if you've been recently dumped or going through a breakup, click below in the description the link for my free 5 steps to get your ex back or somebody better guide. This is going to help give you some direction and clarity during this painful time. Click the link below and it'll be sent right to your inbox. So let's get into today's content. Number 1, money. There's going to be a lot of guys that think respect has to do with just money, right? They see a hot woman with a rich guy and they think money. Money, money, money. This is extremely prevalent in the red pill community where their mentality is basically all women are practicing hypergamy. They're going to go and jump to the next most handsome, richer, whatever it is guy, and there's nothing that you can do about it or whatever other excuse that they use. The red pill community is very good at making everything that happens to them somebody else's fault. And are there women out there like this? Yeah, of course. Of course, lots of them. There's tons of gold-digging women out there, and their relationships are essentially transactional. Do they respect their men? No, probably not. I'd say most probably they do not. And the guys that I coach, they're not really looking for this type of woman anyways. If that's your thing, go ahead, throw some money on them. I'm sure you'll have a great time as long as that money keeps flowing. However, there's also no denying that we see plenty of attractive, high-quality character women with what you would call, regular guys. I see this all the time. And what happens in society is when we see that, what's the most common thing you hear? What does everybody whisper to each other? What do friends say to each other? Groups who see this out throughout the bar or out of wherever. What is the number one thing that somebody will say? They're going to say, wow, he must be loaded. He must be rich. It's always the default setting when you see a highly attractive woman, which, you can presume she has a good character. And let's just say it's one that's not gold digging. It's actually a good quality woman who's with an average looking guy or just a normal guy. They automatically assume it's wealth, it's richness. But I'm going to tell you, the number one thing you need to have to earn the respect of high quality, high character women, you may not like it. You may think I've wasted your time. It's self-respect. You need to respect yourself. Now, again, like I said, you may hear that and think I tricked you to get to this point. And you're saying, coach, that's obvious. Obviously, you have to have self-respect. And I'll say to that, is it obvious though? Is it as obvious as you say it is? Because based on a lot of the coaching that I do and a lot of the emails I get from guys, there's a whole lot of problems that happen in their dating and relationship life that could be solved if they just level up their self-respect and take actions with that self-respect. So I don't think that it's as easy or obvious as you say, or it may be an obvious concept. You say, yeah, self-respect, of course. But what does that really mean, right? And I'm not saying all these guys that are emailing are guys that I've coached that could easily solve their problems. I'm not saying they're bad guys. I'm not saying they don't respect themselves. But when it comes to dating and relationships and dealing with high quality women, their behavior changes, right? To a point where they're acting like they have no self-respect, even if they do. So as obvious as the answer may seem, you really need to understand and be conscious that there's a certain level of self-respect when you're dealing with attractive, high quality, high character women that you're interested in, right? Because when you have that high level of self-respect and don't just turn into a pile of goo when a hot woman talks to you or when you're after someone who's really attractive or who you consider high quality, high character, when you have that level of self-respect, that's going to generate confidence. And confidence is the number one trait to raise women's attraction. You really can't have confidence if you don't have self-respect. I'm going to say now, it's just fake. It's going to be fake confidence or portrayed confidence. And at some point, that's going to run out because you really are not respecting yourself inside. And you're going to revert to some action which is going to make you take, you're going to revert to actions that are going to cause your attraction to drop because you actually don't fully respect yourself in that sense. So a man who has high level of self-respect is capable of anything. And when they display that confidence, that is going to incredibly raise women's attraction because that is the number one thing that attracts women and raises their attraction in you. It's not money. Sure, there's plenty of guys that have money and they have a lot of self-respect, and you'll see high quality, high character, very attractive women with them. But there's plenty of guys that are all those things without the money, and that woman is with them because they have the self-respect, because they respect their goals and they work towards those goals, and then they get that money. But everyone on the outside is going to see, yeah, he's got money. That's it. So one of the biggest mistakes, and I'm going to go through a couple of mistakes here. I'll call them self-respect mistakes when it comes to dating and relationships. And I'm qualified to speak on this because I literally was most of these things, if not all of them. And one of the biggest mistakes that most men make, and I did this a lot, I was the king of this when I was younger, is trying to chase a woman and win her over. Right? Like it's almost a challenge of, I'm going to seek that validation. I'm going to win her over. Like, you see it in TV, you see it in movies. That's going to be me. I'm going to be the guy that does all those things. I'm going to win her over. And it's the worst thing you can do. And I was the worst. I would over-text. I would overshare. I would, be overly lovey-dovey. I did all these things that we were told we're supposed to do when chasing after women. Or, I mean, that's a poorly phrased thing. We're not supposed to chase after women. We're supposed to initiate, but we're not supposed to chase. But I would do all these things, which would essentially be chasing after her. If I texted her and she didn't respond, now I wasn't I'm not crazy. Okay, so I didn't text every 20 seconds or whatever. But if I texted her and maybe a couple hours go by and she didn't respond, I'd double text her. I'd be almost to prompt her to respond, right? Oh, this is what you're supposed to do. I sent the text, she didn't respond. Watch this. I'm going to send the most lovey-dovey text and elicit a response in her that she, just kind of pile it on. And I was, and still am, a great guy. But at that time, I didn't have the self-respect in the value of myself. I was trying to essentially get that validation from her, right? And I say her loosely. I can remember so many instances when I did it. Didn't matter which girl it was. That was my MO for dating, because that's what I thought. That's what I knew, right? And another example is if she isn't treating you super well, if she's grumpy, if she's being rude to you, and you become overly accommodating, right? Almost as if it's your fault. She's acting that way because it's your fault. Now, maybe in some instances it is your fault, but just overall, right? She's in a grumpy mood, she's in a bad mood. And I mean, we see this on TV all the time. Those are the framework, and that is the structure that we see, where a guy is just getting berated by his wife or his girlfriend or his partner or whatever it is. And he's almost apologizing and saying, what can I do? And being overly accommodating. I was bad at that too. And that is a huge mistake. And I understand it, because that wasn't my intention either, but it really communicates a lack of self-respect. You're trying to be accommodating to be oh, please her, but that's exactly the problem. You're not showing respect to yourself, saying, hey, you have to be calm and say, don't talk to me like that. I understand you're upset, but that's not the way to talk to me. We'll talk later when you're feeling better, right? That's having self-respect. And another example I'm going to talk about, and I do talk about this often, because when guys come to me for coaching, when guys email me when they need help, almost all of the time, high majority, over 3/4 of the time, it's because they're going through something in their relationship, or they've already been broken up with and everything's not going right. That's when everybody comes for help, which is fine, but this is why I'm here to try and help you. So the biggest mistake is, when someone breaks up with you, when she leaves you, you go chasing after her. We go chasing after the girl, saying, I got to fix this. I need to get her back. And I am so guilty of this huge mistake, and so brainwashed when I was younger by all the rom-coms. And I love rom-coms. I've said that before. I'll watch them for entertainment. I think they're good, especially I live in, northern part of North America, in one of the major cities. And in the winter, it gets cold. So, curl up on the couch when it's snowing out, grab some hot chocolate, throw on those seasonal rom-coms. They're great. However, they're all nonsense. And I was such a victim of that. And I'm not blaming them. At the time, you don't know what you don't know. I'm glad when it did happen to me, I was able to realize it after so many occurrences. I smartened up and said, hey, I'm doing something wrong. But this is a big mistake. I mean, I talked about it one time in my early 20s, just out of college, a girl I was dating pretty much for, I'd say, the last 2.5 years of college. Just after that, I had acted complacent. I was overly needy, over accommodating, there were other issues too, but she broke up with me. And I thought, wow, like, this is the girl I'm supposed to be with. There's got to be something I can do to win her back, right? Like, what can I do? So what do you think kicks in? The movies. You know what I did? I hand wrote 100 things. And look, I can say about this now, you guys can make fun of me, but I'm sure you guys, maybe it's not something like this, but you've done something like this before too, or had those thoughts. You were doing anything to get her back. I literally hand wrote on a piece of paper a list, 100 things that I loved about her. I folded it up, I drove it over to her apartment, put it in the little mail slot, and I bounced. And then I sent her a text. I'm like, hey, go check your mail slot. And I'm thinking, this is going to be great. She's going to see that and be like, this guy loves me. How can I not be with him? No, she read it. Nothing changed. Like, nothing changed. The truth is, she didn't want to be with me anymore. And that action, maybe for a split second, she thought it was cute. That just basically communicated I was dead in the water. I have no respect for myself. I am like pleading her back. I'm becoming, Prince Charming of complete neediness. And that probably killed any chance I ever had to get her back, because that really communicated I have no self-respect. I just have no respect in my own value. And that's what ends up happening. So self-respect in turn is going to give you that confidence. It's like a byproduct of it. You have self-respect, you're going to have all that confidence. And so many doors are going to open in your life, whether it's with women or otherwise. And you need to take pride in leveling up your knowledge, leveling up your health and fitness, staying true and focused on your career, your school, if you're younger, your business, if you're an entrepreneur, whatever it is that your life goal is, you build that self-respect and positive energy and you put that out in the world, you're going to see a different way that people, and especially women, respond to. You don't have to have all that money up front. You don't have to be walking in, throwing dollar bills on everybody. That's not what garners respect of high quality, high character women. It is self-respect and confidence in yourself. And the more you build on that, that's just gonna earn complete respect of women all over. So if you have a dating or relationship problem and want my help, please send me an email to questions@elevatemyrelationships.com and I may make a coaching video out of your scenario. You will remain anonymous. And like I mentioned, if you've recently been dumped or are going through a breakup, head down to the description and click the link to download my free 5 steps to get your ex back or somebody better guide. This will give you some direction and clarity during the time. And really, it was the 5 steps that I used. You can search all over the internet to try and get some steps. There's information all over, but if you trust me, if you like me, those are the 5 steps that literally changed my life after the last breakup where I didn't respect myself. So it's in the description. You just throw in your email and it'll get sent directly to you. Everything else, coaching, over to my website, elevatemyrelationships.com, click on the coaching tab and select one of the options. I will see you guys next time.